What's up, you beauties? Welcome to High and Wide Hockey's YouTube channel, your go-to spot for all things Flyers. From breaking news to in-depth trade analysis, we've got you covered. Before we get going, make sure to help us on our quest to 1,000 subscribers by subscribing below, and make sure to smash the like button. Now let's talk some hockey. We've hit the midway point of the season, and there's a lot to talk about. From a shaky start to the promising resurgence, we're going to break down the biggest storylines, including goaltending drama, trade deadline whispers, and some exciting prospect updates. So let's jump right in. Let's start with a look at the Flyers' midseason identity. After a rocky beginning, it sure seems like the team's finally starting to find its groove. Here's what Danny Briere had to say during the team's midseason press conference. There's been some ups and downs, and I think the way we've played early in the season probably wasn't reflective of the team that we are. The way that we've played the last 15 to 20 games, I've been very pleased. It's kind of showed what we are, the kind of team that we are. And I thought that was a pretty spot on assessment from Danny Briere. The team started out very slowly out on their West Coast trip and have sort of kind of had to catch up from there. I know they've had a tough last couple of games, but they're sitting around 500, which means I believe they started 0-5-1 or 1-4-1, something like that. So they've had to play catch up, and of late they've looked more like the Flyers of last season. They're in every game. It's rare that they get blown out. They're out shooting opponents. They're cleaning up the second periods. So hopefully we can continue to see them progress as the season goes on. Early on, the Flyers did struggle defensively, and goaltending left a lot to be desired. But after the Christmas break, as Briere pointed out, things started to click a little bit. The team's defensive play tightened up, and their signature gritty style started showing through again. It's clear the squad is settling into their identity, a stingy, hard team to play against. And, once some of the talent on this team is able to shine through, and we'll get to some of that in a little bit, I think we'll start to see the Flyers score more goals and win more games coming up here. But they are a tough team to play against. They're not a team that teams are going to kind of walk all over. And I think, at least in Philly, that's a good start. So topic 2 here is the Flyers goaltending. And speaking of early struggles, we have to talk about goaltending. It's been a topic this season with mixed performances from the Flyers' three-headed monster of goaltending and Sam Ersson, Ivan Fedotov, and Alexei Kolosov. So here's the thing. It's easy to blame goalies when things aren't going well, as Briere pointed out. It's not all on them. He says we have to be careful. It's really easy to just blame goalies, and he's right. The team's early defensive lapses didn't make life easy for any of the goalies. Having said that, though, it seems like every game, or it did for a little while there, they were giving up sort of a softie. And you remember Fedotov's early start, who we'll talk about in a little bit here, but it was just a really tough look. That said, let's give some credit to where it's due. Sam Ersson certainly taken a big step forward since the Christmas break, and Ivan Fedotov, after the rocky start that we mentioned, has started to settle in a little bit. Alexei Kolosov, on the other hand, as Briere pointed out, started strong but has struggled to maintain consistency and is probably better suited to play in the AHL right now, as he's been sent down and has reported. So balancing 3 goalies, it was no easy task. The Flyers were kind of taking up a roster spot there for a while, carrying 3. But the Flyers, they tried to be strategic about what they were doing, practice loads and game readiness and whatnot. So from what I could see, they were doing the best that they could. It was a unique situation, not really going to fault them for how things played out there. Look, if you really want to get down to the base of why what was happening this season was happening, it was the Carter Hart situation. That whole thing kind of screwed the Flyers over a little bit. I think Briere was ready for it. Unfortunately, things aren't really they didn't really pan out the way he'd hoped, at least not right away. And things still have a chance to get better as this season goes on. So Briere was also asked about the trade deadline and prospect progress here. So let's get to the trade talks. With the deadline fast approaching, fans are wondering if the Flyers will make any big moves. But according to Briere, their approach remains cautious. To quote Briere, nothing has changed. If there's something that makes sense for the future, we're going to look into it. So that's right. It's all about the future still with the Flyers. They're not looking to mortgage their long-term potential for short-term gains. And that's extremely important. If you're a fan and you're expecting these big splash trades, Briere's telling you right to your face not to expect that, right? So I'm not sure what more you could be asking for in terms of transparency and in terms of honesty. You know, uh, I think, hey, if this is what we're doing with the so-called rebuild, that's the right move. So I'm not sure what more he could say that would please you, aside from we're going to trade for a top line center tomorrow, which doesn't happen. So yes, they would love to add a high end center, but if the cost is sky high, patience will be the key. And I know that's a hard thing to sell in a city like Philadelphia. Unfortunately, that's where we are. All right. So speaking of the future, let's highlight some of the prospects who fans are kind of clamoring about of late. Jet Luchanko, who got into 4 games with the Flyers earlier this season, is still impressing with the Guelph Storm, and he impressed also at the World Juniors. Briere did mention some distaste and disappointment with the way that Luchanko and Oliver Bonk were each deployed at the World Juniors, but each of those players are playing very well with their club teams. Oliver Bonk, obviously, with the London Knights. Emile Andre, Briere was asked about Andre. Despite dealing with an injury of late, has shown tremendous promise. The pipeline's looking pretty solid for the Flyers. And look, I think Andre could come in and be a top 4 defenseman on the Flyers today. I think the issue right now is that they don't have a spot. And a lot of people might say, well, the trade deadline's coming, and we're going to get to that. Maybe trade Rasmus Ristolainen. That, in my opinion, is the wrong move to do right now. You have Cam York, who is an RFA. Emile Andre is a similar type player. In my opinion, will be a better all-around player than Cam York. They're both similar in stature, similar size, play similar physical games. Andre can play the power play. Andre can distribute the puck. Andre can put points on the board. There's some chemistry there with players like Michkov. I think that you can play him alongside a player like Rasmus Ristolainen, who is now a Grizzlies seasoned vet, a big right-handed D that you can partner with a young developing left side defenseman, puck-moving defenseman. Ristolainen, in my opinion, is a player that knows his role and won't complain if he's not getting top pair minutes. And you could put him on the bottom pair and he'll be happy. He's a guy that's not going to cause any friction, knows his role. Those guys are extremely important. Cam York, on the other hand, young players, going to want a lot of money. Is playing top pair minutes, wants to get paid like a top pair defenseman, not giving you top pair defenseman points. I'm not sure why we want to move Risto over Cam York. If it's just an age thing, I think that's unfortunate. I think if there's something out there to get to package Cam York in a deal, that's my move. If I'm the Flyers, but we'll see. Let's talk about some chemistry and offensive depth, because the Flyers do have that as well. So one of the most exciting developments has been the emergence of a new look line featuring Tyson Foerster, Bobby Brink, and none other than Noah Cates. The chemistry doesn't always happen right away, but with these three, it's been pretty exciting to watch. And to quote Briere, sometimes you put 3 guys together and chemistry just instantly comes. They look excited to go to the ice, to get on the ice. And you could see it, the way they're playing. It looks like it's only going to get better and grow more between those 3. A lot of fun to watch. Bobby Brink's skating has improved significantly. Tyson Foerster looks like he's finding his game again. The puck's finding the back of the net for him. And hey, when you have a guy like Noah Cates who can get it done defensively, it's not afraid to go to the dirty areas, win puck battles, and he does win a lot of those, and come away with the puck and instantly, look to create offense. Wow. Raise your hand if you expected Noah Cates to be a potential second line center. Not me. But hey, let's see if it can continue. Let's see if this is who he is. And who would have thought that a center could be the guy that kind of stirs the drink there with the 2 wingers in Bobby Brink and Tyson Foerster. So their success has certainly taken some pressure off of the top 2 lines. And who's to say that line is not now a top 6 line? So meanwhile, guys like Tippett and Frost are starting to find their stride a little bit. Tippett has especially stepped up after a slower start, and Frost's late season surge mirrors what we've seen from last year and years prior. So good to see some of the younger guys getting going and contributing in meaningful ways. So there you have it, guys. A brief summary of the midseason report on the Flyers from Danny Briere's press conference. The team certainly had its ups and downs, but there's plenty to be excited about, in my opinion, as we move forward with the second half of the season. What do you think, Flyers fans? Are you as optimistic still as I might be? And where's this team headed, do you think? I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. Let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on all things Flyers. Once again, thank you for watching. And remember to keep it high, keep it wide, and we'll see you next time on HW Hockey. Bye-bye.